Oh, our reconstruction is all corrupted. Oh no. What's going on? Oop. Hello everyone, Thranxes here, and welcome back to Call of Cthulhu, Episode 9, where we're starting Chapter 7 of the Nameless Bookstore. The Shambler turned out to be much more than an artwork painted by Sarah Hawkins, as a huge creature came out of the painting to attack Pierce. After a hard fight, the detective managed to send it back into the painting. He later discovered that the dagger he used to repel the creature had been sold to Sanders by a man named Algernon Drake, owner of the Nameless Bookstore. Pierce decides to pay the library a visit. I guess the only question I have is the bookstore actually nameless, or is the name of the bookstore the Nameless Bookstore? See, I suppose we'll find out. Let us enter madness. Uh-oh. Foul play. A lot of bad stuff going on this island. And here I thought we'd get to look at the name of the store on the wall, but I guess maybe it really is just nameless.
Where's the bookseller?
Right? And how many bookstores have skeletons in them? Alright, let's do a little check of our journal before we go any further. We've got a couple of skills. I'm thinking a little more eloquence will help us out. I'm good with that. Let's take a peek at our sanity level. Ooh, we're still stable. We suffered a good bit though. We avoided this one. I'm guessing that was the book. Meet the Shambler. It's in Francis Sanders' private gallery that Pierce discovers the identity of the Shambler, a huge artwork painted by Sarah Hawkins. When Pierce approached it, a creature burst forth from the painting and immediately chased after him. The beast from another dimension has such a hold on the mind of a person who finds himself in its presence that a simple glance in its direction is enough for Pierce to lose some sanity. Pierce finally managed to send the Shambler back into the painting, using a dagger engraved with a strange symbol. But this encounter has left its mark on the psyche of the investigator. Still under the influence of the creature, he almost stabbed his own hand. Yikes. It was pretty harrowing, to say the least. Sanders' residence. The Sanders house, all in shades of red and in gold, is impressive, but nothing matches the private gallery of Francis Sanders. The place is huge and entirely dedicated to his passion for troubling and macabre works. Defaced figures of virgins, sacrificial daggers, statues of monsters, and the painting that led him to the demise takes center stage. The Shambler, a painting by Sarah Hawkins, a close friend of the couple. What happened in this room? I'll never be able to forget it. For the occult, we've got the Dagger of the Ancients with the Elder sign carved on it. This exceptional dagger of Ottoman origin probably dates from the 16th century. It bears the Elder sign on its hilt. It apparently belonged to Pargali Ibrahim Pasha Grand Vizier at the court of Suleiman the Magnificent. Legend tells that Pargali used this symbol on the dagger to protect the court from a creature that haunted the mirrors of the palace. What is certain is that Suleiman had his vizier executed. Did he fear him after this demonstration of power? Extract from his book. Okay, from Francis Sanders' Forgotten Objects book. And then clues. We've got all these old clues. We've already read through them. The dagger. Yep, the book. Okay. I don't know why they don't give you some of those until you complete the last bit of the chapter. What have we here?
Freud's The Interpretation of Dreams. It's the work that laid the foundations of psychoanalysis at the beginning of this century.
Fair enough. This practical work, written by Sigmund Freud for psychologists maybe, describes the techniques of analytical interpretation of dreams. The analysis must follow several rules, especially that of free association, a principle announced by Freud at the end of the 19th century. It treats dreams as a way of revealing buried desires. I cannot believe that this theory is applicable to my nightmares. Still continuing that medicine progression. Should be a lot of good books in here. And we have high hidden object skill, so we'll have to keep an eye out for the hidden object marker. Oh, wait.
An old diary.
Diary of the Pastor's Wife, Volume 4. The pastor declared himself to be the prophet. He renounced God and worshipped a strange pagan entity with a monstrous appearance. His wife tried to reason with her husband, but in vain. He was convinced that he must listen to this voice in his head because it holds the truth. Why are there bones on the floor of a bookstore? There's something going on here for sure. Oh, what is that all about? Did you hear that? I heard that. Oh, more books. History of Darkwater, Volume 4. In the 19th century, as the American whaling industry reached its peak in the rest of the world, whales gradually disappeared from the waters surrounding Darkwater. This phenomenon appears even more mysterious because up till then, the region was a favored refuge for cetaceans. In 1847, after months of pursuit, Scylla returns to port with a gigantic creature on board. Its crew asserts that the sea monster had eaten all the disappeared whales. After a night of ferocious combat, the survivors managed to drag the beast onto the whaling ship. We're somewhat familiar with that. Someone playing chess here? Uh-oh. I see. Okay, well. Perhaps we'll use our lamp then and see if that brings out any more clues. Just a bunch of scrolls and books. Various knickknacks. What is that? Some kind of flying machine. Oh, what is this? What is this? Okay. Handbook on Anatomy and Dissection, Book 2. As precise and illustrated with as much detail as the first volume, this book focuses on healing surgeries specific to malformations and motor disorders. Alright, so we get a little more medicine skill. What have we here? Oh, they're going to give me a chance to read this book again? It looks like the same book. We have to read it.
What does this strange book contain? This book contains unholy knowledge.
Oh my. This will affect your destiny. The Nameless Bookstore. This collection catalogs and classifies creatures that I have never heard of. Divinities from the stars. Creatures capable of traveling from one dimension to another. It presents itself as the reference work on the bestiary of myth, without giving details on the mythology to which it refers. Its pages are covered with phantasmagorical illustrations. It seems like the same book. Okay, well, so that gave us some occultism skill, but it also struck our sanity, which is what I was worried about. It did. The Nameless Bookstore. See, at first I wasn't going to read this book. By reading it, so Pierce read an ancient treatise, the Nameless Bookstore. This bestiary makes an inventory of numerous creatures from the occult world or parallel dimensions. The very nature of its knowledge makes it an unholy book. By reading it, Pierce lost some of his sanity. But I decided to go ahead and read it because the more I thought about it, the more I realized that we're trying to be an expert in occultism, and unless we read these forbidden books, we're never going to get there. So I guess the game really wanted to push me to read the book. The painting of the Shambler, right? The painting was exposed in Francis Sanders' gallery, but I think that the creature no longer requires it for movement. It went to hunt down Sanders in the cellars of the Riverside Institute. I do not know where it comes from, but one thing is sure, it's starving. Did I succeed in sending it back to its world? I'm not sure. Maybe this book would tell me. Men will gather the knowledge through the lines dictated to me by the great old ones, but also in other volumes. The visions that assail me whisper me names and silhouettes of mystical creatures. Soon the Malleus Monstrorum, repository of all anatomical, cosmic, and dimensional knowledge, will be seen as the authoritative work. It says Malleus Monstrorum, but this is the Malleus Beasterium. Maybe it was a different book. This book, unholy among the most cursed books, will one day be the final rampart between man and the predators that are waiting to devour him, hidden behind the veils of parallel dimensions. Well, we made that choice. We're just going to have to live with it now. Biology, mythology.
The Book of Zion is the foundational work behind Helena Blavatsky's Theosophical movement. Its followers place truth on the same footing as a religion.
Interesting. These Tibetan writings are at the origin of the esoteric movement founded by Helena Blavatsky at the end of the 19th century. The creator of Theosophy would have drawn extensively on the texts of this work, but no one has ever been able to consult them. I thought they didn't exist. This book, discovered in the Nameless Bookstore on Darkwater, could be as much a fake as irrefutable proof of Blavatsky's sincerity. Occultism progression. Okay, I accept that. That's what we're working on. We're trying to get that occultism skill up there. Perhaps it will give us a specific type of ending. The Breviary of Medicine, Tome 3. Even a few years back, it was possible for a single practitioner to know all the medical knowledge of his time. This book, which concludes the series, shows that this is now virtually impossible. About 10 renowned doctors took part in putting together this collection. And still we know nothing of psychology. It's okay. You can't be good at everything. The History of Darkwater Volume 2. So we found Volumes 2 and 4, but not 1 and 3. Interesting. A Puritan colony led by Reverend John Wickwood settled on the island during the 17th century. They named the island Darkwater because of the dark shades of the sea. They believed it was because of the peculiar color of the rocks surrounding the island. They erected the first buildings, among which were the Hawkins Manor, the church, and the cemetery. The rare documents and handwritten notes they left spoke of nightmares and deviant behaviors. They disappeared at the beginning of the 18th century. Well, where are the other volumes of the History of Darkwater? Alright, let us refill our lamp oil. Linguistics. What is all of this? No, fair enough.
What happened here?
Okay, so now we've opened up the new journal entry for the Nameless Bookstore. Never seen such a collection of works on magic and occultism. Algernon Drake, the owner, prides himself on being a luminary in the study of esoteric phenomena. The library was ransacked during an attempted burglary. It holds numerous rare or forbidden works. Its backroom houses a safe protected by an ancient symbol. Is that the case? Where's the safe? Oh, I see. Okay. So I guess we're going to reconstruct this scene. Maybe we'll investigate this first. Handbook on Anatomy and Dissection, Book 1. The least that can be said about this book is that its title is well conceived. The illustrations of human anatomy and dissection methods presented are illustrated in great detail. You have to have a strong heart or the detachment proper to doctors to consult these pages. Fair enough. Fair enough. I accept these terms. Alright, nothing to do but to recreate now. Let's do it. Or reconstruct, rather.
Let's start over. Where did they break in from?
from the front door. I mean, obviously.
Blood. Seems like amateur work.
True. Very astute, Pierce. Oh, what do we hear?
Someone tall left this footprint. A man, probably.
I'm with you so far. Are we going into that room? No, nothing happened in that room. And then here, something happened here.
This burglar seems to be rather clumsy.
Right? Or intentionally smashed something with the book on purpose. I don't see anything over here. What were they after? They had to have been after the safe. Right? Okay.
What sort of thief leaves his tools at the crime scene?
That's what I was just thinking.
What killed all these animals?
All these bugs.
What happened that made the burglar flee before finishing his work?
Must have been all the bugs and pests and the rodents, the pestilence. Well, maybe we have a high enough occultism score to rate this here. Oh my.
What the... Charles Hawkins?
Of course, so he was trying to access this and couldn't because of the elder sign.
Looks like the symbol rejected Hawkins.
Exactly.
What sort of power did Sarah Hawkins' painting possess?
Oh, our reconstruction is all corrupted. Oh no. What's going on? Ooh.
Sarah Hawkins helped hide something in this safe.
Why did it knock me down? Okay. So she did. And who might you be?
Drake put in a great deal of effort to hide whatever is in here.
Right.
Everything is linked to the Sarah Hawkins case.
Seems that way, doesn't it? Alright, let's leave the reconstruction. The burglary. Alright. Let's consult the clues. Oh, we have sanity loss for that? We don't have a new traumatic event. But we did suffer sanity loss. Oh, we're still stable. The ordeals you have gone through have left their mark, but you still manage as best you can. You keep your mind busy in order to chase away doubts and painful memories. You still have some way to go. Who knows where your mind could lead you along the paths of insanity. Oh, goodness. Better get ourselves a drink when we can. Chapter 7, Clue, the Burglary. The Nameless Bookstore's burglar came through the door. A bit further, some knocked-over objects allow the trail to be followed into the back room. There, the mess next to the safe confirms the person's aim. However, there's no material evidence to support my hunch as to the identity of the burglar. Charles Hawkins did indeed appear to me, as well as the star symbol on the door of the safe. I cannot determine if the presence of Sarah Hawkins in my projections is the result of the unconscious work of my mind, or whether it proves that the case obsesses me. Okay, well... they're obviously going to let us interact with the safe.
Drake left instructions on how to find the combination of his safe.
Interesting. Drake's memoirs. A page seems to be hidden here. It's possible to read. If somebody finds these memoirs, there will be no doubt that I am in serious trouble. My last and only hope is that my body and bones are still in this plane of reality, in order that they be recovered and burned. The funeral urn must be given to my dear mother if she is still of this world. The following message is of capital importance. Whoever reads these lines and demonstrates acuity as sharp as mine can hope to gain access to my most precious possession. It lies within my safe, and the clues to the combination are to be found in 3 cylinders, each hidden where life and study combine in the Greek world. Each cylinder is numbered, even if, as the celebrated author says, order is the pleasure of reason, but disorder is the delight of imagination. Indeed, despite my preference for organized chaos, I must admit that reason usually prevails in the end. If by chance a person, or should I say a genius, was to match my intellect and find the combination of the safe, I would ask that they deliver its content into the safekeeping of my friend and colleague, Professor Armitage of Miskatonic University. The content of this safe is not only a vast digest of knowledge, but also a weapon that is far too dangerous for it to fall into the wrong hands. I hope that you'll be able to appreciate the danger that this represents and that you will act accordingly. In any event, I will neither be there to guide you nor to suffer from your actions. Algernon Drake. Okay, so we're looking for cylinders, and we have 3 drawers on the desk. Let's check it out. Whole lot of nothing.
Is everyone on this island taking sleeping pills?
It really comes across that way, doesn't it?
What link did he find between Charles Hawkins and an old amulet?
The key of relay file. This key that bears the elder sign, right there, is the only one able to protect your psyche. It is in the form of a cylindrical medallion hanging at the end of a heavy chain. Hundreds of years ago, the star and the branch, whose purpose is to push back the forces of the great old ones, were engraved at its center. Everything points to it being Charles Hawkins that tore it from its last owner, an Egyptian antique dealer. In press cuttings that mention the misdemeanor, the date of the robbery coincides with the last of Hawkins' trips off to Cairo. It remains to be seen whether he knows of the true purpose of the artifact. Try to find it. I would like to try and find it. Perhaps we need to look for these cylinders. Oh, clues everywhere now. Okay, let's reread the clue we got from Drake. No, not this one. This one. Whoever reads these lines and demonstrates acuity as sharp as mine lies within my safe, and the clues to the combination are to be found in 3 cylinders, each hidden where life and study combine in the Greek world. Each cylinder. Okay, so that would be biology, theology, mythology, biology. It would be here. Right.
Cylinders that Drake tried to hide. I should perhaps listen to them.
Okay, well, first, let's go ahead and study all these extra books.
Arkham editions. Never heard of them.
Arkham Anthology, Volume 2, Corpus Hermeticum, written by Hermes Trismegistus. Trismegistus? Oh, that's a tough name. Translated and edited by Nathaniel M. Coppelius. This collection of texts on different beliefs was written by a legendary philosopher. It includes a translation of the Emerald Tablet, a popular text among 16th century alchemists. This volume is part of the Arkham Anthology, a luxurious collection of treatises and works on esotericism and the supernatural.
How many volumes are there in this collection?
And what does that matter for me?
Another volume by Arkham Editions.
The Key of Solomon, a book of spells, supposedly written by the legendary King Solomon. I'm not actually taking these as clues, though.
Arkham Editions. Never heard of them.
these like Easter eggs of like H.P. Lovecraft books. Hold on. Let's get to a gramophone or whatever so we can listen to these cylinders because I'm sure the volumes might have something to do with it.
Things are not looking good.
Huh.
Things are not looking good.
Well, that's not a fair assessment because the king for the white pieces is not on the board. So obviously there was a checkmate or somebody just threw the piece off the board. Okay, where am I going to be able to listen to these? Perhaps there was something back in here? Alchemy. Alright, let's put the lantern away. That's a little unnecessary.
How many volumes are there in this collection?
Isis Unveiled. Book of Esoteric Philosophy and a Key Text in Madame Blavatsky's Theosophical Movement. Written by Helena Petrovna Blavatsky. This volume is part of the Arkham Anthology, a luxurious collection of treatises and works on esotericism and the supernatural. Right.
Another volume by Arkham Editions.
So this is volume 9.
Arkham Editions.
Volume 6.
How many volumes are there in this collection?
Volume 8.
Another volume by Arkham Editions.
Volume 6.
Arkham Editions.
This is volume 4.
Never heard of it. How many volumes are there?
1.
Another volume by Arkham
3.
Editions. Arkham Editions.
2.
How many volumes are there in this collection?
7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Another volume by Arkham Edition. Arkham Editions.
4.
How many volumes are there in this collection?
9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's not 9 books, though. Alright, we read the book. We read the blasted book. Where are we gonna find a gramophone? You don't want us to leave, do you? Okay. Phonograph, that's what I meant. Cylinder is meant to be listened to by a phonograph. Found it in the Nameless Bookstore. The message, although obscure, might contain important information. Says that about all of them. So where... Oh, here's a phonograph right over here. Alright, let's listen to the first one.
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets.
The Grail is here.
The Chalice of Knowledge.
This goblet seems to be very ancient. It seems to be made of gold and decorated with real precious stones. Do the rubies and sapphires make up a specific motif?
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets.
The red drops.
The Chalice of Knowledge.
So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 red stones. Okay.
And these red drops,
No.
like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold.
No, not that
To
one.
be the guardian of the Grail
next
does
one.
not protect me from its attractions. I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling. and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny.
4. There are 4 pieces. So it's
And
6,
these red
4.
rocks, dear friend, I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them.
Right, but it goes up to volume 9. But the truth is, there aren't 9 of them. Let's get them in
Drake
order.
talked about a particular volume.
Oh, he did.
So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message.
Collection of poems by Edward Pickman Derby, also known as the Nightmare Lyrics. This collection of poems was sensationally received when first published in 1908. Derby was only 18 years old. The volume is part of the... so maybe 18? So 6, 4, and 18, perhaps? No, 18 isn't a number. Hold on a second.
What did Drake say about this collection?
Azathoth and Other Horrors.
Drake talked about a particular volume.
All right, let's just count them all up. Wait, so that's 5. So that's the one we can't check. Oh, you can see the numbers visibly on their spines. Or at least some of them you
So
can.
these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message.
So it's 1. And then 2 is here. 3. This one's 4.
What
This one
did
would be
Drake say about
5.
this
No,
collection?
that one's 6. 5 is up here, but we can't check it out. That's 6. That's 7. 7. 8. 9. Okay, what did he say about 9? Let's listen to it one more time.
Dear friend, I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them.
But if we just take that clue at face value, you would think the number would be 9. But then why would I have to look at the book?
Drake talked about a particular volume.
Collection of poems by Edward Pickman Derby. Okay. Let's try it like this. Let's try it on 6, 4, 9. Eight. I think we should go. Okay, so we've got, it's 4 if we count those pieces.
The Chalice of Knowledge.
If we count the rubies. Let's make sure we've 1, 2, 3. Is that 5? Did we miscount? Hold on. 1, 2. Let's line it up with one that's easy to know. So this ruby lines up almost perfectly with this handle. That's the one we'll start with. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and oh, there are 5. Okay. Okay. Then that's where we're messing up. So it's 5 and then 4 white pieces. Well, no, we could try the one one less than the not counting the queen. Oh, there it is. There it is. Not another scary book. Maybe this one will keep us safe. We need to restore some of our sanity. No, we need to take this to Miskatonic University. Mm-hmm. And not let this fall into the hands of Squidface. Oh, snap. What have we done? Okay. No. No. Oh, that's where we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. It looks like we're going back to the Riverside Institute. Or no, I guess maybe not. But that's the end of this episode, Call of Cthulhu episode 9. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've had a good time watching because, as always, I've had a good time playing. Be sure to drop a like if you have had a good time watching, and don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell if you want to see my videos as soon as they come out. But until next time, take care.